4531. What is generally the maximum altitude for Class B airspace? A. 4,000 feet, MSL. B. 10,000 feet, MSL. C. 14,500 feet, MSL. The correct answer is B. Class B airspace is generally airspace from the surface to 10,000 feet, MSL, surrounding the nation's busiest airports in terms of airport operations or passenger enplanements. 4532. What are the normal lateral limits for Class D airspace? A. 8 nm. B. 5 nm. C. 4 nm. The correct answer is C. According to the FAA's Aeronautical Information Manual, AIM, Class D airspace is defined as Class D airspace is airspace from the surface to 2,500 feet above the airport elevation, AGL, surrounding those airports that have an operational control tower. The configuration of each Class D airspace area is individually tailored, and when instrument procedures are published, the airspace will normally be designed to contain the standard instrument approach procedures for that airport. Class D airspace is typically 4 nm in radius, but can be tailored to the specific needs of the airport. For example, if an airport has a lot of traffic, the Class D airspace may be extended to 5 nm or even 8 nm. 4533. What is the floor of Class A airspace? A. 10,000 feet, MSL. B. 14,500 feet, MSL. C. 18,000 feet, MSL. The correct answer is C. According to the FAA's Aeronautical Information Manual, AIM, Class A airspace is defined as Class A airspace is generally the airspace from 18,000 feet mean sea level, MSL, up to and including flight level, FL, 600, including the airspace overlying the waters within 12 nautical miles, NM, of the coast of the 48 contiguous states and Alaska. Unless otherwise authorized, all operation in Class A airspace is conducted under Instrument Flight Rules, IFR. Class A airspace is the highest class of airspace and is used by high-altitude aircraft such as airliners and military aircraft. It is important to note that all aircraft operating in Class A airspace must be equipped with an appropriate transponder and must file a flight plan. 4434. MOAs are established to A. Prohibit all civil aircraft because of hazardous or secret activities. B. Separate certain military activities from IF or traffic. C. Restrict civil aircraft during periods of high-density training activities. The correct answer is B. MOAs, or military operations areas, are established to separate certain military activities from IF, or traffic. MOAs are typically established around military bases or training areas where there is a lot of military activity. Civil aircraft are not prohibited from flying in MOAs, but they must follow certain restrictions, such as staying outside of the restricted area and maintaining radio contact with air traffic control. Here are some of the reasons why MOAs are established: to protect military aircraft and personnel from collision with civil aircraft, to ensure the safety of military operations, to prevent interference with military communications and radar systems. Civil aircraft that violate the restrictions of MOA may be subject to a fine or other enforcement action. 4473. Which airspace is defined as a transition area when designated in conjunction with an airport which has a prescribed IAP? A. The Class E airspace extending upward from 700 feet or more above the surface and terminating at the base of the overlying controlled airspace. B. That Class D airspace extending from the surface and terminating at the base of the continental control area. C. The Class C airspace extending from the surface to 700 or 200 feet AGL where designated. The correct answer is A. According to the FAA's Aeronautical Information Manual, AIM, a transition area is defined as transition area, designated airspace extending upward from 700 feet or more above the surface of the Earth when designated in conjunction with an airport, which has an approved instrument approach procedure. The purpose of a transition area is to provide a buffer between the airport and the overlying controlled airspace. This allows aircraft to transition from visual flight rules, VFR, to instrument flight rules, IFR, without having to enter the controlled airspace. Transition areas are typically designated around airports that have a high volume of traffic or that are located in areas with poor weather conditions. They are also used to protect aircraft that are operating under IF or from those that are operating under VFR. It is important to note that transition areas are not always designated. In some cases, the FAA may determine that a transition area is not necessary to protect the safety of aircraft operations.